Imagine you're eager to play a game, one from the PS3 era that you know works just fine on the Steam Deck. You've always wanted to experience it on a handheld, you're all fired up, you've just bought it on Steam Deck, and now it's time to dive into the world of nostalgia and fun. And then you're hit with the surprise that the game isn't working on the Steam Deck. It won't boot, or sometimes you get the error that it's not a Steam Deck verified game, or sometimes you click play, but the button is grayed out with no error. And there are times when you press the play button and the game just doesn't work without any errors. How would that feel? That's exactly how a lot of gamers are feeling right now. Now, some might question why you're going back to 10-year-old games instead of playing the recent AAA titles. Well, newsflash, AAA games have been experiencing issues on the Steam Deck, failing to deliver decent performance for the past year. A majority of big games don't work, and Elden Ring, which isn't a very demanding game, is almost unplayable in the open world scenes, no matter the settings. So don't tell me what games I should or shouldn't be playing. Now let's try to understand why we can't play easy-to-run games on the Steam Deck, where the problem lies, and how Steam Deck 2 should fix it. Perhaps constant updates to the SteamOS could address the issue. Let's begin and dive deeper into the problem. Anti-cheat bullshit. Now, this is a crappy tag that Steam Deck fans give to hide the real limitation, but this is a limitation that Steam Deck has. Anti-cheat software often operates at the kernel level, which grants deep access to system resources to monitor for suspicious activity. However, due to security reasons, direct kernel access is restricted on Linux, including the Steam Deck's operating system. Anti-cheat software is designed to detect and block cheating attempts by monitoring system activities. This deep level of access raises security and privacy concerns for some Linux users. Incompatibility with anti-cheat software can prevent multiplayer games like Valorant, PUBG, the latest Call of Duty games, Destiny 2, etc. from running on the Steam Deck. Some anti-cheat solutions that players have tried to word around this limitation have mistakenly banned legitimate Steam Deck users in the past. This doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen to a lot of people in the past. Just imagine your entire account taken down because you are trying to play a certain game on a device that you own. You'd be saying, it can be this bad, Valve must be doing something about it. And yes, you are right, Valve is definitely doing something about it. They have introduced a system called Easy Anti-Cheat, EAC, in collaboration with Epic. Initially, there were some complications in getting EAC to work seamlessly with certain titles on the deck, but these issues have apparently been resolved. This development opens up possibilities for running games that utilize EAC on the new hardware. Steam Deck now easily supports both EAC and BattlEye, another major anti-cheat software. This means that games like Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, and Halo, the Master Chief Collection, should be able to run on the Steam Deck without anti-cheat related issues. The limitation lies in the anti-cheat software, which is currently designed for Windows-based machines. Since the Steam Deck runs on Linux-based SteamOS, some games relying on these anti-cheat systems face compatibility issues. But why older PS3 and PS2 or even some PS4 era games don't work? I'm going to share my personal experience here. There's a game called Warhammer 40k Space Marine, an excellent hack and slash on the PS3 that I wanted to relive on the Steam Deck. I bought it, installed it, and tried to play, but that freaking game just wouldn't boot. No matter what fixes the internet offered me, it just wouldn't boot. Period. I thought, okay, let it go. I'm going to play another game from the PS3 era that I wanted to finish. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. It ran fine, but was capped at 30 FPS. There's a 60 FPS fix for Windows that I couldn't apply because we're on Steam, and those codes just don't work here. Then, reaching the final stage of that mission, suddenly the music was gone, and I could only hear background noises. I thought it might be a one-time issue, but it happened every time I played that stage. I got frustrated and tried to find a fix, and there was a patch on the Steam store itself that I couldn't apply on the Steam Deck because we're on a Linux system. Or maybe you could do it, but it wasn't straightforward for me. it was definitely not as easy as running in .exe or copy-pasting the files. As a consumer, you need to understand that these games were inherently designed for Windows. A library of 20,000 older games has been launched on Windows. These Windows-specific libraries provide graphics and runtime functionality missing on Linux. Proton translates many DirectX calls to Vulkan, but some games heavily rely on unsupported features or specific net versions, and those games just won't work, no matter how powerful the processor or RAM under the hood. Older games might rely on drivers specific to Windows hardware and configurations. While Proton provides generic drivers, these might not perfectly replicate the original functionality, leading to glitches or performance issues. Developers rarely optimize older titles for non-Windows platforms like Linux. This means these games might not take full advantage of the DEC's hardware, leading to subpar performance. Some games implement DRM software that relies on Windows mechanisms and hasn't been fully implemented in Proton. This can prevent the game from launching or functioning properly. DRM might limit functionality or features on the DEC compared to the original platform, creating an inferior experience. SteamOS gets praised a lot by the tech community, and rightly so. For the things it does them perfectly. But there is a massive flaw this need to be highlighted too. Okay, so you might think, I'll just install Windows on my Steam Deck and the problem is solved, right? Well, the answer is no. Installing Windows on the Steam Deck doesn't automatically solve the issue because the OS won't recognize the Steam Deck's controllers. While there are third-party software options that can force Windows to recognize the SD controllers, and yes, they do work decently, they're quite clunky. This workaround compromises the very console-like experience of the Steam Deck, making it a challenging endeavor for those who aren't technically inclined. So, is there no hope for the Steam Deck? It's not all doom and gloom. Valve is actively working on improving Proton compatibility, aiming to address game dependencies, drivers, and control issues. Community contributions and developer support play a vital role in achieving broader compatibility. I believe that in the next version of SteamOS, they will at least ensure that big-ticket items like Call of Duty games will work on the deck. Some Steam Deck enthusiasts might argue that streaming services like GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud Gaming can bypass some limitations by running the game on remote Windows servers and streaming it to the deck. However, this approach depends on a strong internet connection and can introduce potential latency issues. Not everyone has a powerful PC at home, which somewhat defeats the purpose of the device. Maybe for the Steam Deck 2, Valve should consider a dual boot system, allowing users to choose between Windows or SteamOS at startup. They could develop a dedicated overlay and drivers for Windows that automatically recognize when a user is on the WinDeck version, making the controllers work seamlessly as if native to it. This is where Windows handhelds are winning the battle. And even those who were once unwavering Steam Deck worshippers are now acknowledging the device's limitations and sharing their insights with the world. I hope the Steam Deck 2 will be an improvement, avoiding these issues as the Steam Deck has become a household name, and everyone is eagerly anticipating the next iteration of the hardware. The Steam Deck really needs to put effort into enhancing their SteamOS to increase compatibility. It's not in a great state at the moment. Despite all the compatibility improvements they might make through Proton, I still believe that the Linux-based SteamOS, no matter how much it evolves, will never achieve 100% Windows compatibility. That's all we have for today's video, and if you liked what you see here, drop a subs for us. Let us know in the comments what should be out next be about. Stay tuned at Retro Pocket and be safe are there.